Shariah Standard Number 44. Obtaining and Deploying Liquidity. This recording was generated by Yusuf Anrif. In the name of Allah, the All-Merciful, the Most Merciful. All praise be to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds, and blessings and peace be upon our Master, Muhammad, and his household and all his companions. Preface. This standard aims to define liquidity and the methods of obtaining, deploying, and utilizing it within institutions. Statement of the standard. 1. Scope of the standard. This standard covers what is meant by liquidity and the permissible means of obtaining and deploying it. 2. Definition of liquidity and liquidity management. 2.1. Liquidity refers to cash or that which can be easily converted to cash. 2.2. Liquidity management means achieving a balance between obtaining liquidity as swiftly and cheaply as possible and investing and deploying it effectively. Liquidity is achieved in various ways depending on where it is being utilized. For example, in institutions it is the ability to cover withdrawals, in the money market it is the ability to swiftly convert securities into cash, and with sukuk and investment funds, it is the ability to redeem or sell them in the secondary market. 3. Need to utilize liquidity in institutions needs liquidity to meet numerous requirements, such as 3.1. To distribute profits, which may rely on the liquidation of assets. See Shariah Standard Number 40, on distribution of profit in Mudaraba-based investment accounts. 3.2. To discharge liabilities by selling inventory assets and converting them to cash to pay what is owed to creditors, to face contingent liabilities, or liquidate investment vehicles, or the institution itself, and similarly to expand its activities, or to achieve capital adequacy, or to improve its credit rating. See Shariah Standard Number 43, on insolvency. 4. Obtaining and deploying liquidity. 4.1. Obtaining and deploying liquidity through interest-bearing loans is prohibited by the Shari'ah, whether transacted directly or through overdrafts or interest-bearing or commission-based facilities. Any liquidity support made available by supervisory or regulatory bodies, such as central banks, must be provided only through Shari'ah-compliant modes, such as Mudaraba and investment agencies. 4.2. Permissible modes of obtaining liquidity include 4.2.1. Selling commodities on a salam, deferred delivery, basis, receiving payment upfront, and then purchasing the relevant commodities for delivery on the maturity date. It is permitted to secure a promise to sell from a third-party commodity broker to mitigate the risk of fluctuation between the sale price and purchase price. See Shariah Standard Number 10 on salam and parallel salam. 4.2.2. Istisna concluding an istisna-based sale contract stipulating advance payment, although advance payment is not obligatory, and concluding a parallel istisna-based purchase contract stipulating deferred or installment payment. See Shariah Standard Number 11 on istisna and parallel istisna. 4.2.3. The institution selling some of its assets for immediate cash and then, if required, leasing the asset back on the rent payable in arrears, taking into consideration what has been stated in Shariah Standard Number 9, Item 5.8, on Ijara and Jara Muntahi Abidamlik. 4.2.4. Financing working capital to expand the institution's activities. This involves the institution inviting investors to participate in financing its working capital on a mudaraba or musharaka basis for a specified period of time determined by its liquidity requirements, and with the ability to liquidate the mudaraba or musharaka at the end of such period. The investors enter into the mudaraba or musharaka by contributing their capital while the institution contributes its current assets, after valuation, as its share of the capital of the musharaka or mudaraba. The institution's fixed assets do not form part of the musharaka, rather, fixed assets are either lent or leased to the venture, and rental payments are accounted as expenses of the mudaraba or musharaka. 4.2.5. Issuing investment sukuk to expand the institution's activities. This involves issuing the types of investment sukuk explained in Shariah Standard Number 17, on investment sukuk in order to obtain funds from sukuk investors and undertake projects required of the institution. The institution may securitize some of its assets by selling them to sukuk subscribers, managing the assets on their behalf, and promising to purchase them at the market price or at a price to be agreed. If the institution is only the lessee and not the manager of the sukuk assets, it may promise to purchase them at face value. 4.2.6 Tawarruk. This should be done in accordance with Shariah Standard Number 30 on Tawarruk. 4.2.7 Interest-free loan. An application of interest-free loans is outlined in Shariah Standard Number 26 on Islamic insurance in Item 10.8. Regarding loans given by the takaful operator to the takaful fund. 5. Liquidity should only be deployed using Sharia-compliant modes, which include 5.1. Purchasing commodities in cash and selling them for deferred payment through muzawama or murabaha contracts. 5.2. Lease contracts that end in ownership and forward leases, whether for tangible assets or services. 5.3. Purchasing commodities on a salam basis, immediate payment for deferred delivery, then selling them after taking physical or constructive delivery, whether personally or by appointing the seller, in a separate contract, to sell the commodities to his customers. 5.4. Istisnae and parallel istisnae, which involve the institution commissioning the manufacture of products or projects on an istisnae basis with immediate payment for deferred delivery upon completion, and then selling the same manufactured products to a third party through a second istisna contract for deferred price and delivery, without linking the two contracts, or procuring the sale by appointing the manufacturer as an agent, through a separate contract, to sell the manufactured product or project to his customers. 5.5. Musharaka and Mudaraba, which involve the institution as the capital provider. 5.6. Investment agency, which involves the institution appointing another institution or those with whom it deals to act as its agents. 5.7. Subscription to purchase Sharia-compliant stocks, investment sukuk, or shares in investment funds. 5.8. International commodity trading in the financial markets in accordance with Shariah. 5.9. Currency trading in accordance with Shariah.